I have been craving Chinese takeout, but I'm not always in the mood to just get takeout. So I decided to try to make some things myself. Last night I made some lo mein that was pretty dang delicious, if I say so myself. So I wanted to continue on my journey of takeout. And today I want to make scallion pancakes. Very delicious. I get them mostly every time I get takeout and they're just so good. Let's see if we can make them. We have to get the dough ready a couple of hours before we cook. And there's also an oil mixture that we want to cook and have completely cooled by the time we actually assemble the pancakes. So just a little bit of prep work, but it is worth it. Let's get started. Time to make the dough. Into my little bowl here, I'm gonna put some flour, some kosher salt, and some hot water. I'm gonna put all the ingredients and the measurements in the description box below. Now that we have everything in here, we're just going to stir it to combine until it reaches kind of a shaggy dough consistency, which is what we have here. Ghost, I'm trying to film for the nice people. Please stop. Anyway, now that we have our shaggy dough, surface floured, not too much flour. This is going to be kind of a stickier dough, but you don't want to have it stick to the countertop either, so you just gotta get the sweet spot. And you're gonna bring it together and knead it just for a few minutes. Just knead it for a few minutes until it kind of smooths out and is just a little sticky in your hands. I have been kneading this just for a few minutes and it's still kind of sticky, as you can see, but it's really not sticking to the countertop or your surface, and it's relatively smooth. So what I'm gonna do now is set this aside and we're going to let it sit for about 2 hours. So I'm just gonna cover this with some cling film, let it do its thing, and we'll come back when it has been rested and all beautiful and smooth. Now he's upset because I told him to stop. I'm sorry, I just can't hear when you're being playful in the background. While we are waiting for our dough to kind of relax a bit, I want to make the roux kind of oil that goes onto the dough when we're ready to shape it. I have a pan here on medium heat. I'm going to put in a mixture of vegetable oil and sesame oil, some flour. Kind of stir this together and we're going to bring this to a little bit of a boil. It's starting to bubble a little bit, so once this is starting to bubble like this, I'm going to let it go for another minute, and that's that. So I'm going to just take it off the heat, let it hang out, and wait a couple more hours for the dough. Alrighty, it's been a couple of hours and our dough has rested. It's turned into a much stickier dough. I'm gonna flour the surface again and kind of work it a little more just to kind of loosen the dough back up. This dough is going to give us 2 pancakes, so I'm gonna cut it in half. What we're gonna do now is we're going to flatten it out into a large rectangle. Large, thin rectangle. We've got this in the general shape we want it. Maybe it's not perfect, but you know, what is? We're going to get that flour oil mixture that we made earlier. It's completely cooled down to room temp. And I'm just going to paint a little thin layer of it, leaving a little bit of a border. You want this nice thin layer. You don't want this pooling anywhere. And while this was getting ready to do its thing, I just chopped up a bunch of scallions, and I actually put some ginger in here, very finely chopped up as well. So I'm gonna take like half of it. Just make a good layer. I like a lot of scallions in here. Roll it like a cinnamon roll, and we want it as tight as you can get it. The first part's always kind of the most annoying, but you're just gonna roll it. And while you're kind of making your rolls, kind of lift it up, pull a little bit tight, lift it up, pull. So now I have my scallion snake here. Coil this. Got your little coil right here. Now, going to just dust this very lightly. Kind of give it a little press. You can see where those little air bubbles are in there. That's fine. Just don't want a huge one. Now we're going to roll this a little flat. Don't worry if the scallions start to poke through a little bit. That'll be okay. They're just gonna get all crunchy and yummy anyway. Want to just get this into a pretty flat pancake. Whoops. Oh well, it'll be fine. It's fine. We're fine. I've got my little pan over here again. I just have about a tablespoon of vegetable oil in here. It's on a medium heat, and I'm just going to carefully just lower my pancake in. It's sizzling already. I'm gonna let this cook for a few minutes on this first side. We're gonna flip it for another few minutes. I think she's ready to flip. The smell is intoxicating. You can tell it's kind of got a crust on there by the way it moves all together and freely. I'm going to just give this a little flip. Oh my God. See the rings, all of the scallions that kind of poked through are now just beautifully charred, crunchy, and delicious. So the other side will cook just for a few minutes again, and then we can dig into it. Here we go. There is our luscious pancake. Outside is crunchy, perfect sounding. Oh, that edge right there, I want to dig into that like no one's business. So that crunch. These layers. Delicious. Let's just dig in. While those were cooking, I made a little sauce, just soy sauce, balsamic vinegar, and a little bit of sugar. Oh yeah, it's crispy but doughy. And the layers are flaky in there. It's hot. And the green onions are so good with the ginger. It's bright. Still hot. These make a really good appetizer if you wanted to like elevate your home cooking takeout game. Another day, another meal. If you don't feel like getting takeout, going through the process, try it at home. It's really not that difficult, and it tastes great, and you kind of know what goes into it, and it's fun. You should try these, and you should enjoy it.